Hi, my name is Hans Schattle. We'll be talking bright and early weekday mornings from 7 to 9.
Let's news.
Working to restore power.
This morning team wants to share your comments and opinions. Please send in your messages to pound, hash or sharp 1013 for just 51, or you can also call 02-778-1013 and let your voice be heard.
Among the thousands of South Korean adoptees around the world, one woman in the United States has recently drawn some special attention here in Korea with her new method of searching for her birth parents, Twitter. Kim Young-hee started a Twitter account. It's called Red Pants No Shoes, which is followed by more than 2,000 Twitter users around the world who are very intrigued and sympathetic also to her story. And Ms. Kim now joins us on the phone from New York. Good morning, Ms. Kim. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon and good morning to you.
So let's begin with your personal story. Do you have any particular noteworthy memories that you remember when you were a very little girl and you were found by authorities here in Seoul after apparently being left by your parents?
I wish I did. I was at least 1 year old, and I don't have any memories, and I couldn't really communicate by speech at that time.
Yeah, so you have no memory of your birth parents then?
Not at all. Not voices, not names, not images.
Yeah, what are the earliest memories that you have then here in Korea?
None, I'm afraid, unless they come to me, in a non-rational way as a dream, but there's nothing consciously that I remember from Korea.
So as I understand it, and I took a look at your blog as well as your Twitter site yesterday, your blog's very, very interesting, by the way, and very heartwarming as well. You were found by police in Yeongdeung-pogu in 1973 wearing red pants and no shoes.
That's correct.
And then you were taken to an orphanage, I believe, a place for young children without parents?
Yes, I believe it's called the Children's Home or the Home for Missing Children. It's no longer in business today.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have any memories of that, but then you were adopted by an American family. And what is your earliest memory?
Wow. I have no recollection of flying over on the airplane in 1975 or actually arriving and meeting my adoptive family. I think probably one of my earliest memories, and they're not even really complete memories, are when I lived with my family in Chevy Chase, Maryland, my adoptive family.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a dog, and I just remember a little bit about the pool, about where we lived, and some of the parks and so on. But that's it. I was about 4 years old then, too.
So what prompted you, Ms. Kim, to start searching for your birth parents? When did you begin the search?
I actually started a formal search about 3 years ago, but I didn't really make any serious headway until more recently. I think a big part of searching is personally, individually being ready to search. And it took me a while to get to that stage. I think one impetus for it was the birth of my daughter. And, when she was born, I realized here's someone else in the world that looks like me.
Right.
And that had a lot to do with it.
Right, and your little girl has relatives over here in Korea as well, I suppose, of course. We just have to find them.
Yep.
So then how has new media made this search unique for you? There are all different ways of looking for birth parents, and I suppose new media has made it much easier to reach out. Have you been to Korea in the past ever?
No, not since I left in 1975 to be flown to the U.S. to meet my adoptive family.
Right. So how has new media helped you make direct contacts over here in Korea as you try to find your birth parents?
It's been amazing. When I was in high school, we didn't even have the internet, which is so hard to believe today.
Right.
And from the time that I was adopted, both my adoptive family and myself, we were told and we believed that there was no way to find my family, my birth family. And just one day, it just sort of, the internet is just such a resourceful tool. I just decided I would do a search on Korean adoptees and see what turned up. And there were accounts and blogs by other adoptees, and I realized not only was there an adoptee community that was accessible by the internet, but they were able to answer a lot of questions, or at least get me started in the right direction to get a search going. And I started out with a blog, which did okay. I really didn't know how to tap the overseas markets as much, and that's where I wanted to focus my search. A few people had suggested to me to try Twitter, and I wasn't really sure. I wasn't completely comfortable. I didn't fully understand it, but I did get it online and signed up for an account, and honestly, the response has just been, amazing. I never would have imagined.
What kinds of messages?
It has been effective.
Yes, what kinds of messages have
ahead.
people been sending to you?
Everything from, good wishes about I hope you meet your family, don't give up, people that have been touched by my story, people who want to offer to help in any way they can, people spreading, retweeting constantly to help keep my message out there, people who are offering to either work for the press or have press contacts that want to get the story out there, suggestions. Other people have shared situations where adoption has been a factor in their own lives.
Now, as you said earlier, Ms. Kim, it's not easy, of course, to find one's birth parents for all sorts of reasons. In fact, very few people actually find them. What do you see as the biggest obstacles in finding your family, and has social media helped at all in overcoming them?
I would say determining fact from speculation. When adoptees are trying to reconstruct their background to establish a starting point at where to start the search, you just have so little information. It's hard to know exactly what your individual situation is, and there are other factors too that make it more complex. Anything from language and cultural barriers to being on, sometimes the other side of the planet. But I will say that Twitter and Facebook and my blog online have helped to make this search possible. And actually, we've had a couple of people come forward who think they may be related, and we're looking into that right now.
And before we go, Ms. Kim, is there anything you'd like to say about yourself that you think might help your birth parents or relatives here in Korea recognize you if somebody might be listening right now?
I have very little information. One thing that's difficult is it's hard to know how I was separated from my parents, whether I wandered off and got lost. Maybe I was kidnapped. I don't know. So they may not have even purposefully wanted to let me go. But the main thing, which is what I've named my blog and all my communication online after, is that I was wearing red pants and no shoes at the time. And I thought that might be significant.
Yeah.
There are some characteristics now that I don't necessarily know if they were present at the time I was found, but I do have a small widow's peak at the center of my forehead. And my ears are kind of large with attached earlobes, and I have a small vertical half-inch scar on my right kneecap. And at the time that I was found, I had several teeth and I could walk, but I couldn't speak clearly. But I could understand when someone spoke to me, and I could sort of express myself non-verbally back to them.
Well, Ms. Kim, I thank you for sharing your story with us, and I just want to wish you the very best in finding your birth family. I hope you find them, and I hope the reunion with them is fruitful when you find them. And if you ever come over to Korea, let us know, and we'll invite you into the studio to talk with us.
Thank you. Absolutely. I would love to do that, and thank you for having me.
Yes, we've been speaking with Kim Young-hee, who is looking for her birth family from New York.
Listen again to everything you missed on today's This Morning. Visit tbsefm.seoul.kr and click on This Morning.